So when we talk about economic development, there's some examples of responsible economic development and irresponsible economic development. So what I would like to do is I'd like to explain the difference between two scenarios. Responsible economic development is making your city and zoning and coding and permits and all of that type of stuff so easy and so attractive that companies will come from all over everywhere because they know that from the point that it takes to start their business until they're up and running is faster in Denton than anywhere else. You know what? People will pay you for that. You don't have to bribe them to come to your city if you have a reformed government that is for the people, by the people, for the people, right? But we've got to have that. There's a joke all over North Texas. They call it Frisco, the town that Denton built. You know why? Because they're so much easier to deal with. I'm not saying they're perfect, but they're much easier to deal with on the permitting side and the code side than Denton is. So what we need to do is we need to be able to be a city that is focused on that, of being the most attractive place to be, not the place that's going to pay you the most. Now let me give you an example of irresponsible economic development. Let's take this new convention center. First of all, it's a 1,750 seat convention center. It's a public-private thing, right? Plus there's a hotel, plus there's a restaurant, right? All of that together. If you think about that for a second, who is going to go to a 1,750 seat auditorium or convention center when they can go to Dallas, they can go to Allen, they can go to the very large center in Irving, or they can go to Fort Worth? Who's going to come to Denton for that? Well, let me tell you somebody that might come to Denton for that. They're dealing with this right now in the city of Dallas. You see, if you've got a private-public convention center, you don't get to choose who comes and who goes to that convention center. You know what happens? Look what happened in the city of Dallas. So the pornography industry decided they were going to come to Dallas. This has been in the recent news. They decided they wanted to come to Dallas and they wanted to be in that convention center. And I guess city council decided no, they didn't want them in there. And the reason that they didn't want them in there was because the sex trafficking, things like that, that tends to follow those type of events. Well, guess what? Now the city of Dallas is getting sued for discrimination. Do we really want to set ourselves up for something like that? It just doesn't make sense to me. On top of that, we have to hire two full-time employees to sell that convention center because that's part of the deal. Besides all the tax rebates and everything else about picking winners and losers, I mean, that business model just absolutely does not make sense. Those types of venues are failing all over this country. The odds of us even getting our money back on the two people that are going to have to try to sell this place out is going to be little to nil.